do the license plate shot or the driver's license shot. You could put your information in there. So if you're sitting next to somebody and you have a nice conversation, rather than exchange business cards, which you felt, I felt really old if I ever brought one out, you would just pull up your phone and scan the QR code, and boom, you've got their profile page in the South by app. So it's pretty cool.
The ratio between PCs and Apples over there.
Just flip the way it is in the real world.
Yeah. Really.
If I saw someone with a netbook, I'm just like, I feel embarrassed for you. Like, I'm not big into that stuff too much, but I'm just like, oh man, like the iPad 2 launched while we were there,
Right.
and here you have people that pay $1,000 to travel, to stay overnight, and get their tag, and they went and spent 6 hours online to get an iPad 2 at a pop-up store.
Yeah, Apple just took an empty storefront, and all they sold in that storefront were iPads.
What was the one thing you took away from
Selling the business, but doing it on the side.
I came away with a feeling that no one person has the answer, and I think it fits. It's a nice connection to CoinLock. Like everybody was talking about, I built this on top of Foursquare. I built this on top of this. Or my product outputs with an API, a standard API, so you can integrate it with this. My reporting tool builds off of your Facebook Open Graph, whatever that thing is. And it was so cool to hear the conversations of people talking about things. You're at a bar talking about it, you find out what they're doing. And like Justin said, you weren't really hiding it. You were actually promoting what you did, sharing what you did, because people were so open to connect with others. Like, well, my app can take you to this far, but I can reach your audience if we can connect it this way. And I think that I came away that it's not open source, which is kind of, we're all going to build this together, but it's kind of like, I'm going to be really good at building this, and I'm going to build a rich experience, but I'm going to be able to hand it off to somebody else. I'm not going to create this closed world thing. And so you look at what the co-working model is that we're going to create something great together. I'm going to take this person's great skills, this person. I really felt that there at a big level. Like, it's not like it was a bunch of individuals trying to sell their individual thing. Big companies were building, had big booths with lots of t-shirts and lots of whatever, selling their app or their API or their product, which connects with something else. And that was really the measure of success, which was how well can this connect to something else. And I think that I came away with people really wanted to work together. This was a real business benefit.
Shameless plug, I wrote a blog post on this on my blog, justinjsilva.com. But I would say, I titled it 39 Thoughts from South by Southwest. I feel like I need to come out with an aha moment. I went there with my niche in mind, social media, and how I can help our clients and personal stuff like that. There wasn't one big thing I took away that I was like, oh, that's it, that's the next big thing, or this is what we need to start doing now. But I would say I took away from a social media standpoint that social media is still so young, that you had nonprofits and small businesses all the way up to the big companies of the world that still, don't think they get it. And I feel like people went there hoping they would come out and get it and they would get the best examples, but no one was there to offer that. And it's still in this exploratory time where, people are making mistakes and they're experimenting and you're finding out what works and there's no industry standards and and the great thing is that a small business and a large business alike can be very successful doing completely different things in the medium. And I really got a feeling there that these experts come together and it's funny that they're all citing the same examples. They're like, oh, Comcast Cares is the best example ever, and Dell sells $3 million on Twitter. We've all heard that before because the examples are still being made. So there is no 10 steps to success. There's no 5 metrics to bring to your CEO that end all be all. So I really took out of it that it's still, social media is still in its infancy stage. It's still evolving. There's still a lot to learn.
Talking about that, how fast do you think it's evolving at this point? Is it like, we're on a trajectory that's supersonic, or is it still kind of just moving along?
I feel like if you're not involved with it a lot day to day, you feel like it's moving really fast because you just look at Facebook in the last 6 months, how many new features that they've, deals and places, and they just release questions that on any given day there's new features popping up and different ways for you to leverage them, but at the end of the day, you still need a strategy. So I would say for any business, whether large or small, you have to step back and say, what am I looking things are moving around you, you can't get blinded. Someone had a great example that if you're not in social media at all, if I'm a small business, say here in Wilmington, I was like, you know what, I want to get into social media. Starting, from the start with, like a Foursquare deal might not be the best thing. Like start something smaller, or being, like, oh, I'm gonna go and make 10 YouTube videos right at the start. Start small, take a step back, see what works for you, and kind of just go.
I do think it's maturing a little bit in that there wasn't a new social platform introduced this year. It was feature sets building upon GoWalla, building upon Facebook, building upon others, things connecting in with those, but it was still based upon you having a Facebook profile, you checking in with Foursquare, you doing some fundamental thing off of the major platforms. So to me, I do feel like there's a little bit of maturing in that I don't have to make a decision whether you're going to have a MySpace account, a Facebook account, or some XYZ, whatever it is account. If there isn't those new sort of platforms that we have to deal with as developers, we can assume that as a consumer, you're likely going to have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, or LinkedIn. There's a subset that we can assume. There wasn't additions to that subset at this time. And so I do sense there's some maturing in that now finally we can build upon that. There's a foundation that's being built of social conversations, and we can now build on that. Where I think over the last few years, there was this land grab of, I want to be the one everybody checks into. I want to be this conversation. And I think now we're starting to accept, all right, there are some winners, and because of the APIs and because of the things, we can now build upon this, and so we can start to go further.
Real quick, I'm sorry. With all that you've seen at Southpaw, and as you said, the foundation is sort of now being laid, where do you think education needs to move, especially in college for kids coming out? Where do you think their viewpoint needs to be to match what this new reality is?
I've got 3 kids in public school, and I went to private school growing up, and I swore I was going to send my kids to public school for various reasons. So education is like near and dear to my heart. So I went to a lot of discussions on that. The whole textbook conversation, I didn't realize what a big business that was, and how confining the conversation is when you're basing it off of the textbook. And so going to a social conversation, building upon this, California is building this open source textbook project. It's sort of like a Wikipedia, but there's some sort of vetting to it. But it's not driven by a publisher, it's driven by the public who wants the best information. That was a real interesting conversation. There was another one about game mechanics, which is how can I, like Foursquare, where you check in the most, you become the mayor. Well, that's called game mechanics, because you want to be the mayor. Well, how do you be the mayor? You be the mayor because you check in more to that location, so it's a benefit to the business. Well, the founder of Scavenger, which is a geolocation service, geosocial service, he was a keynote speaker talking about using game mechanics for education. And he brought up like grades. Grades right now, you screw up one class and it wrecks your GPA and you fight like hell to bring it back. And we've all probably been there. And he was saying, in games, that doesn't happen. You get experience points. You never go backwards. Like you get 100 experience points, and if you screw up a class or a level or whatever, you get 102 rather than 110 experience points. And so he was talking about applying these sort of game mechanics, these sort of theories that we have that were evolving in gaming and social conversations, and bringing them into the classroom and making that. And his whole premise was the education system is broken because we're punishing people for the wrong things. We're not encouraging them to do things. We're not encouraging them to expand. And he brought up all his own personal examples. He was a dropout from Princeton, and he left Princeton to go start this multi-million-dollar venture. So dropout had a positive connotation in that line. But like that was a real interesting perspective from my line, from the education community.
I have a spin on that. So recently we were interviewing potential interns for a social media position at Archer, and this girl, she went to University of Delaware. She's a senior. She was a comm major, and she was interested in social. She had a few internships and had some relative experience. And I asked him, like, do you learn about social media in the classroom? And she's like, oh, our professors try to touch on it, and they try to make us like start a Facebook page, like a fake project or something. And it just was interesting that I really feel like social media can be used for so much good. Like all these apps we saw there, like there was an app that you use that when you're driving, you keep it up and it senses where you are, and then it sends out alerts to everyone else on the app. So if you're going to leave your house and you're going somewhere, it could show you the best route to go. Things like that. And I went to a talk where a teacher wanted to test using than they were in papers. And that like I'm a shy kid in class sometimes. I was never the one to raise my hand, but I would tweet a professor a question if I could. Or if you had a running dialogue, up on a classroom wall of having a discussion, especially when these big, like 500 person classes, It's just that I feel like there needs to be education to teachers on how you can use these features, because Facebook's all not bad. They just think of students, bullying kids and posting inappropriate pictures, but it's beyond that. Think about if a classroom started a private Facebook group where students could ask each other questions and the benefits in that, or tweeting study groups, or asking questions about homework. There's so many good uses, but a lot of key educators aren't there yet. So hopefully the next few years, it's the benefits that are in the real world now for personal reasons to be taken to the classroom. I think a lot can happen.